Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with Jesse and Garrett. These two are full of it this morning. We're on episode 60. Good morning, guys.
What do you mean we're full of it this morning?
My God. It took us 20 minutes to get this podcast started because the two of them were just bantering back and forth.
You're going to have your hands full today.
We're trying to find ways to make extra money.
Yeah.
It's like
can't
daycare.
handle
It's
it.
like daycare in here today.
Just literally can't handle it. These
I
two
love it.
coming up with schemes and gimmicks and ways to make money out of things they shouldn't.
You know what's funny? Like, we're so much taller than him. So, like, when he yells at us, it's hilarious. Like, I just look at him like, he's so cute. Look at him. He's like, let's do the podcast. You're so little. Look at you.
That's a
Hey,
good point.
I got this bucket here, though, and when I stand on it, we're the same height.
I'm afraid you're going to hit me with it soon.
No, because then I can't look you in your eyes when I'm yelling at you.
I'll be sleeping in the corner.
True. Well, you already are anyways.
Hey, knock it off.
Garrett looks like he's sleeping.
I wish.
Garrett, how you feeling this morning?
I just have a headache. That's all.
That's all?
You know
That's
why you
all.
have a headache?
There's a little
Why?
baby
Because a
headache?
head that big ought to hurt.
It's all that hair coming out of his head. Look, it's like a chia pet.
Not you. You see that thing bald. Look at
Look
it.
at him. It's like a chia
biggest
pet.
head I've ever seen.
Swear to God, every week
do.
he
Yeah.
I
cuts his
gotta
hair.
imagine your head is actually bigger than mine.
No, look at that thing. It's got
Your
a
head is
crown.
huge. Not gonna lie.
Well, it's
Your
full
head
of
is-
brains.
Your head
Yeah.
is bigger than mine for sure.
Do I really have that big of a head?
You
Yeah.
kind of do.
We should measure it today.
Okay.
We should measure the head today. Let's see whose head's bigger.
Your beard just kind of hides.
Yeah, your beard
Side.
does hide a lot of it.
It does look pretty good today.
No,
Not gonna
it
lie.
doesn't.
You're a liar.
Still looks like it got stuck in a lawnmower.
Liar.
Tinkered around with a lawnmower too.
It's still horrible.
Looks like the top of your head got stuck in one.
No, that's why there's no hair left.
No, you just cut it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's gone.
You're looking fuzzy today.
I have a little fuzzy today.
Yeah,
Thanks
you
for
are.
noticing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Your wife actually cut my hair last.
I heard.
It was terrible. She missed like half my head.
Well, sir, Great Clips isn't,
I gave her
she's not
crap.
practicing right now.
I was like, I thought you were the Farmington hairstylist of the year. She said, I was.
You
I
took
said,
her out of practice.
They must have been pretty bad then because you missed a whole section of my head here.
How do you mess up bald?
That's what I said.
You know,
It's
how
not
do
like I
mess up
asked you to do
bald?
lightning bolts. Not like I said write my name in the back of it. I just wanted you to go with bald. Let's go bald.
I was pushing really hard for her to shave a 51B in the back. I was.
I wouldn't have been upset.
Oh, it'd have been sweet.
I wouldn't have been upset.
Yeah, it'd have been
Not
sweet.
gonna lie to you.
She got like this little tattoo trimmer so she can do that stuff. I was like, you should. For sure.
I was fine with it. I mean, as long as she got the rest of the hair. But
What's a tattoo trimmer?
It's like a micro trimmer head, so you can do crazy designs like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, cool.
they can write like chia pet in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Or watch out for infield tires, or
What?
watch out for the wall. Whatever you want to write in there.
I know you're not talking to me right
Or
now.
maybe
The
an
size of
airplane.
his head, you might be able to
Maybe
write
an
the
airplane
first
on the back?
page of the dictionary.
Airplane.
Yeah.
That's Delta Flight 51B.
Delta Flight 51B cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff. It's the landing that really kind of sucked at.
So there's some debris on the runway still.
Actually, it's funny that you say that. So I went back to the scene of the crash.
Yeah, I
I
heard.
found a bunch of parts that I was missing. So I picked those up. Those are in my trailer now. Never know when you need
Extras.
those. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, look, oh, that's mine. Oh, that's mine too.
Who else's would it be? Most
That's
people
mine.
stay on the track.
Yeah, well, not most, but yeah. I'll tell you what, though. This last weekend went a whole lot better than that weekend.
Yeah, sure did, didn't it?
It sure certainly did.
What'd you win Friday?
One Friday, lost Saturday.
Hey, you didn't really lose Saturday, right? You came in second.
Yeah, what?
It's better
which
than
is
you finished when
the-
I came and watched
the first
the weekend
loser.
before.
I was the first loser on Saturday.
That's all right. Better
I
than
lost brakes, though, in fairness to me.
I heard. Yeah.
Apparently, my car doesn't like me. We went into the corner to try to pass for the lead, and the pedal went to the floor. And I went, oh, this is going to be bad.
I made a huge
Yeah.
mistake.
Oh, no. Made a huge mistake.
Yeah, kind of hard to slow down without brakes, huh?
No, I mean, you can usually use the guy on the outside of you. He usually slows you down pretty good. I was trying to avoid that, though.
Why is it 100 degrees?
You are just making friends this year at the track.
I'm not.
Left
I
and
don't
right.
feel like I am. Yeah, no, it's 100 degrees today.
Literally.
Dilly bar day.
Dilly, dilly,
It
dilly.
is, isn't it?
It's dilly bar day.
Wait, dilly, dilly? Dilly?
Dilly dilly.
I love
Dilly
it.
dilly.
Isn't it the temperature over 90? Is that what
Anything
it is?
over 90, we buy dilly bars.
Yes.
So it's dilly bar day.
Yes.
We haven't had one yet this year. It's be
I
the
know.
first.
It's kind of early for one, actually.
A little early.
Yeah.
A little late, though.
No, it's definitely early. It's not
No,
usually
we had
90.
we had 90s before this year already, boys.
Not during the work week, we haven't.
Maybe not during the work week, but I know we've had.
They've
at
been the
least
weekend,
one.
but I'm talking about I haven't had to buy dilly bars this early in a year in a long time.
It's pretty early, huh?
Pretty early.
I'm excited.
It's not bad.
It is
DQ's
hell
okay with
today.
it.
Excited.
They're like, would you like an order of 75, please? Yes, I would.
It's, like it's probably like 100 now.
It's probably 100 now,
Dude,
yeah.
Have you been to the Dairy Queen lately, though?
No, I haven't been there since I bought dilly bars last
might
year.
not get dilly bars today. The one in Farmington, we
I
just
called
went
them ahead
2
of
weeks
time.
ago. Yeah, good idea.
I called
That's
them.
smart.
I told them what we needed.
Like the one in Farmington, it was empty. I wanted some Buster bars. It was empty. Like they have
Unbelievable.
like 6 or 7.
Unbelievable.
little
How do you do
boxes.
that?
Good thing there's like 4 Dairy
Sad
Queens within
world.
15 miles, so we could go to one.
Just keep driving all the Dairy Queens and buying them.
I'll
all.
just drive all around to it.
I do like a good dilly bar.
Good dilly bar. Gotta like it. What'd you guys do this weekend?
I don't know if I want to talk about my weekend.
Yeah, I heard your weekend went great. You have great kids.
Yeah, great kids. Awesome. Yeah. No, it was my anniversary Saturday. Right. So
Yay! Congratulations!
Yay! Still married.
Did you guys go to Canterbury?
Canterbury?
That's where the horses run.
No, we went out to Wisconsin to a horse farm.
Oh, fair
Did you
enough.
see that picture of Brie with
I
that
did.
horse?
I did. She snapped me
She's
out.
like, I'm going to send this to Chad and say I'm visiting my cousins.
It's so funny.
We were talking on Friday, like, what should I get her for a gift, right?
Yeah.
Because our anniversary. And
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
Steel this year.
Why not think about gifts on Friday, the day before your anniversary? on
Right.
Saturday?
That's,
I mean,
how,
yeah,
that's how I do it.
seems
So
like a legit time.
I said, well, what should I get her, right? Steel this year.
Did you get her some old slats?
No.
That's Steel.
No, I tried to find her a set of horseshoes. For people out there that don't know, the running joke is that we call Brianna a horse because she walks like a damn Clydesdale everywhere she goes. You can hear her coming for a mile. But no, anniversary Saturday, family reunion, then obviously packing, right?
Family
Packing.
reunion.
Yep.
Man, remember when we used to do those?
Oof. A lot of people at these ones on Bree's
Yeah.
side.
It's too much.
What'd you do, Garrett?
Garrett, do you remember your weekend?
That's my favorite question.
I'm trying to think. What did I do this weekend? Oh, I had an engagement party.
I'm trying to remember. Between the beer, I don't remember what I did.
I had an engagement party. That was pretty fun.
I was so blitzed with rum drinks, I could barely remember where I was.
Engagement? Are you getting engaged?
I'm not.
Congratulations.
A couple of my friends are.
Cool. When are you guys getting married? Congratulations.
2028 probably.
2028. It's right around the corner.
In there.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's the highlight of my weekend.
Your
got
highlight of
to
your
swim
weekend
in
was
the
an
pool.
engagement party for your brother.
Well, it was catered Chipotle. It had a pool.
Chipotle.
That would be
Chipotle.
pretty cool.
That's
Catered
cool.
Chipotle
Yeah. And a hot
Catered Chipotle and
Yeah.
a pool.
Open and there was like open coolers for beverages.
Nah, you
like
don't need
if
to talk
wanna
about it. You got me at Chipotle. I'm good there.
Pop
Gosh,
in
I
water.
kind of want that today, though.
I know. I kind of want Chipotle now too. Chipotle?
Should we do it?
Should we do Chipotle today?
Okay.
I think we should do Chipotle today, boys.
Let's do it.
What
All
are
right,
we
well, I'm
talking
glad we
about?
solved that. So I'm sure the viewers are loving hearing us.
No,
talk
they're
about Chipotle.
sleeping. They're like, "You guys suck
God, these guys
today."
suck. You know what? Good news. You're mine to listen to.
I gotta go.
So we're all worked
I'll
up this morning. It's
Continue
like,
to suck and you don't like it.
it's like we all slammed a bunch of coffee.
Jesus, I don't know what happened
I
there.
haven't finished mine yet, actually.
But last week we talked about putting in the work.
Yeah.
This week we're not putting in the work.
No. Throw it out.
It doesn't appear that way.
Doesn't appear that way, does it? No, we're going to talk about the cost of doing business today.
It's a good one.
Spendy.
Yeah.
Spendy. Spendy.
That's what this is for you right now.
Good one there.
Spendy.
Yeah. So, anyways, we chose the topic because, obviously the cost of doing business is sometimes overlooked. When you're in business, you just continue to do business every day and you don't think about like the actual cost of doing business, right?
Right.
It's the little things that are forgotten sometimes. When you look at the cost of what you do on a day-to-day, day in, day out, it's kind of like buying a house. I always say that everybody looks at the house payment. It's easy to look at that, right? Can I afford this house? And they look at the house payment. But it's kind of easy to overlook the little things like utilities, the upkeep, all the stuff that goes into owning such house, right?
Yeah.
Like plowing your driveway out when it snows because you forgot that your driveway is too long to shovel now.
Right.
Oops.
Right.
Or freezing out your culvert that flows your water. Things like that.
Oh, we're taking shots, are we? Okay, cool.
We have shots.
Got shots.
Who has shots?
Who's got shots?
Garrett woke up. Look at that.
Did you see that? Garrett was
Head
so
stopped
excited.
hurting. He's like,
like,
"Shot?"
I remember my weekend again. It started with that same phrase.
Maybe my headache will go away today.
Hey, that's why I got the headache. Maybe he's starting to sober up finally.
Going through withdrawal. Garrett,
Yeah,
what the hand out?
exactly. He's like, God, my blood is starting to thin out here. I don't
My
have
alcohol
alcohol in it
system is
anymore.
running out.
Yeah. My alcohol contact's getting too much blood in it. Anyways, yeah. Sorry about that, Garrett. But, like I said, we look at the big things a lot of times, mortgage costs, taxes, things like that, but we don't actually look at some of the overhead things that have to be taken into consideration when we're running a business,
For sure.
And, for the business, most people look at their overhead as, their rent, their mortgage, their employee costs, things like that, right? Easy
Yeah.
to look at those things.
Yep.
But what about the cost of the healthcare? What about the cost of materials? What about your utilities in your shop? What about your advertising costs? What about your shipping expenses? your equipment itself, people don't always think about those things. It's just they think that it's got to happen anyways, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to not ship your product out, you're going to pay the shipping costs, right? You don't have a choice unless you're going to drive around and drop things off yourself. But again, that comes with a cost.
Yeah.
You're the shipping cost then, right?
$42 a gallon gas.
Yeah, $42 a gallon of gas, 0.6 miles the gallon.
Yup.
This is going well.
Sounds like you're having a good day.
Yeah, terrible. But yeah, I mean, you got to think about some of those things. So, let's take a step back first, though, and let's just talk about, when somebody starts talking about the cost of doing business, what do you guys initially think about? What are things that come to mind for you when a customer or somebody that you're speaking with talks about the cost of doing business?
Well, for me personally, I always think of my photography business because people always assume, wow, that's a lot of money. Why do you charge that much for a wedding?
Yeah.
Well, it's like we got to take a step back and look. You're not just paying for their time. You're paying for that person's equipment, what they've learned over the years of doing photography, the editing time, them to drive there, their gas. There's so many other things that go along with that where it's not like just such a face value thing. So you kind of touched on it, but yeah, I mean, there's so much behind the scenes.
But I have an iPhone. I thought you could just take a picture with my iPhone.
You can. Yeah. It'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, wouldn't that? I mean,
Yeah, you try it.
Same quality. I mean, it's 4K, right?
I think the pictures I take on my iPhone are just as good as the ones Garrett takes. Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
I'm kidding. No, I think you nailed it. I think, Garrett, you crushed that. I wouldn't disagree with anything you said there. And like you said, Brandon, the little things. Little things. Everyone knows the big things. Everybody thinks about the big things, but it's the little things that kill you. So that's the things I like to focus on, going over your software, right? Things people don't think of. That's one of the things. Like, hey, I have to pay for software? Yeah, well, write that off, right? That helps you with your business. It's the little things that you forget about, the little things you don't think of.
My thought process when I think of the cost of doing business is it's the place that everybody cuts corners.
Yeah.
They will literally spend a fortune on rent. They'll spend a fortune on employees, and then they'll cut costs in areas that they shouldn't. As you just said, software, right?
Yeah.
That's a monthly subscription. Yeah, for something that's going to make you money every single month.
I'll find something free and cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So they cut corners. They use something crappy. They have some software that doesn't make any sense for what they're doing, and they struggle through it, and it costs them more money.
Right. They cut their nose despite their face.
Correct. And it's like, yet they're out there spending a fortune on things they don't need to.
Right.
Because they can't plan accordingly. They end up having material costs that go through the roof. Their shipping costs because they're overnighting things in that they probably could have thought about a week ago,
Yeah.
Those are the things that I start to notice is that for me, the cost of doing business is the things that get overlooked or cut out that shouldn't be. Again, advertising.
Right.
I've heard customers say that they're cutting their advertising because money's getting tight.
Yeah.
What?
Good luck.
It's like,
It's the last place.
yeah.
Why don't you cut your lunch budget?
Yeah, like I'm seriously, like it's turning the water off because the bathtub's drying up? Like what?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. That's like the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, so I mean, advertising is one of those things to me that like gets overlooked. You should be
absolutely
thinking about your advertising in your business. But the other side of it is guys call us up and they talk to us, obviously in our industry about equipment. And they start looking at things, as a commodity. They're, I don't need to buy a CNC machine. What else? How are you going to cut your product then?
Yeah. How are you going to keep up?
Well, I'll outsource it. I'll just outsource it to a guy. Oh, what?
It's baffling.
Did you hear what you said?
Yeah.
Like you just said you're going to not buy your own equipment so you can pay for somebody else's.
I want to make someone else
Smart.
rich. Yeah, I want to make someone else.
I want to make somebody else rich. Yeah, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather pay their machine off for them first before I pay for mine.
For sure. Oh, and just because the guy doesn't want to cut it anymore, he doubled my prices, but
Yeah.
he's still convenient.
Because I mean,
so.
at that token, I mean, you might as well sell your car.
Yeah, I think you should.
You just pay an Uber every day to go everywhere you need to go.
I agree with that.
That just
Get rid of your laundry machines.
No
Go to
reason
the
to do that.
laundromat.
Yep, go to laundromat.
Uber
Yep.
Eats,
absolutely.
just order food.
Yep. Uber
Might as well
Eats.
just eat off plastic and
Yeah.
paper.
I mean, but like that's the stuff you have to start thinking about is that, as a business, like the cost of doing business, yes, there's certain things you have to take into consideration, but I personally think about them as a necessary evil, Mm-hmm. These are things that I have to do regardless of what I want to do, right?
Right.
Because it's part of doing business. It's like buying a new computer, office chair, a mill. Without the cost of doing business, I don't get to do business.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, your chair broke? Just stand. Like, that's not what you're going to do to your employee, right? You're going to get them a new chair.
Yeah.
You have to.
Right.
Otherwise, that employee's just not going to come to work.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Or their computer. If their computer doesn't work, they can't work.
Oh, speaking of, we need to talk about mine later. Don't let me forget.
Okay. Sounds good. Did you break your new laptop?
No, I didn't break it.
Did you break it?
No, I didn't break it. It's
Did
just
you
being
spill Cheetos
stupid
in
for
it?
some. For
Did you spill
right
Cheeto
now.
dust in the keyboard?
I'm not going to talk about that. I told you we'll talk about it after this. I just wanted to remind you. I forget.
Okay.
Keep going. You're
Keep
doing
going.
great.
I'm doing great. Thank you.
No, what you just said though, it's you have to spend money to make money.
Yep.
Right? That's just the reality of it.
Yep.
You have to spend it to make it, and if you're never going to spend it, you're probably going to have a hard time making it.
Correct.
Right.
Well, that's always been what I've found is that, these guys that are really frugal with their business generally aren't growing at the same rate as some of the people that are willing to invest in themselves.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I get it. Yeah, you might be more profitable in some areas because you're so frugal about it that your profit margin goes up, right?
Yeah.
But, like, how much more money would you be making? How much more business would you be doing? How much bigger would your company be if you would just invest in yourself a little bit?
That's a great question. And
Right?
there's a lot of people out here that stop and listen to that. Maybe rewind it, listen to it again.
Just think about if you invested in yourself, how much more money could you make?
See, that was awesome.
Was that awesome?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I felt like
Yeah,
I
that
did a
was
good job
great. You crushed
reminding
it.
that. Thank
Yeah.
you. Pretty proud of that.
I like it. I'm
Pretty
over
proud
here
of that.
smiling.
Garrett's over here sleeping again.
Glad you're my friend. Made me
He's
proud of
texting
you today.
himself.
I'm listening.
Actually,
Dear
he's texting
Garrett.
me.
Dear Garrett. Nice hair.
My diary.
Dear diary.
They're bullying me today.
They're bullying me today. But, complaining about the cost of doing business does not change a thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't make business cheaper.
No, not at all.
Being cheap on cost of doing business does not make you more money.
No, it doesn't.
It just simply won't make you more money.
It creates more headaches.
It will.
Right,
It's a
Garrett?
trickle-down effect. Yeah, how's your headache?
Don't ask, please.
Excedrin
Don't ask.
migraine 5. That's what it is.
It's a stage 4 right now.
He's going to sound like a NASCAR commercial over here. But, as you start looking at cost of doing business, you have to think about how do you account for those costs of doing business, right?
Yep.
Well, one thing you can do is add it to your job cost,
That's right.
For sure.
right? Instead of
sure.
complaining about it, add it to your job cost.
Yeah.
In today's world, you see it regularly, whether it's a list, a line item on, a listed line item on your bill of sale or whatever it is that says shop materials, right? Shop supplies. We've all seen that on something that we bought,
Right.
Or if it's rolled in the actual cost of your product. Nobody should be eating the cost of doing business, ever.
No.
Something kind of funny that I noticed. I took an Uber, what was that, last weekend?
Yeah.
Now they have a line item on there called fuel surcharge.
See?
Because fuel's up. So
Yeah.
now they're charging, it's like 50 cents or something.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing is like, again, they're not going to eat that cost, and they shouldn't. The reality is nobody should be eating the cost of doing business. So the cost of doing business still needs to be accounted for in some way. If you eat the cost of doing business all the time, you're going to hurt your business.
You won't have a business.
Yeah, that's correct. Then you have to find ways to offset that cost, right? That's another way to do it, right?
Yes.
So let's be honest. You have to spend money on some things, right?
Yeah.
Like material. How can you offset this, though? Well, one thing that you can do is use the material for other jobs, right?
You can.
Buy the material. Whatever you don't use on a future job.
Correct.
Don't just throw it in the corner, Throw it away. Give it back to the guy. I've seen guys do that. We're like, oh, I didn't use all your material. Here's the rest of it. Why? Like, keep it. Keep the material. Well, I don't have the space in my shop. No, you have the space. Find it.
Yeah, make it.
Yeah, because it's how you're going to save money later on. When you have extra material, you repurpose it. Get use out of what you've invested in rather than having to go shopping and buying more stuff all the time.
For sure. You see a lot of these guys in cabinets. They'll take their scraps and you'll see cutting boards, charcuterie boards at the end of the year,
Correct.
right? They take that scrap, they capitalize on that, and they sell holiday gifts.
Yeah, they're reducing their waste and their costs.
They are.
You also can look at how to utilize material better, in terms of nesting, right?
Yep.
Take more products, put them on one sheet, and therefore you're going to use less sheets.
Less waste.
Less waste. And less time.
Yeah, that's important.
Because you're loading less sheets.
That's important.
Or you're handling less sheets.
Man, I don't like lifting sheets.
You're condensing and combining.
Lift-
Reduce and reuse.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
yeah. When we were in elementary school.
Nailed it.
Right? Reduce, reuse, recycle.
That's what
That's
they
what
said.
it was.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
But yeah, less wasted resources. And then, there's my favorite one. What are you doing?
What is occurring right now?
What just happened?
I spilled a little coffee. Just continue, all right?
I can't. We just
I can't. I just watched you pour a water
water
bottle down
into your
front of
hand and rub it on your crotch. Like, what are you doing?
I love that both of us caught it at the same time. Like, what is happening right now?
I spilled coffee, all right?
You're in the middle of a podcast. You see a guy pick a water bottle up and pour it into his hand.
From
Like,
my
he's
angle,
pouring it
yeah,
right-
I say from my angle, he's just pouring it right in his lap. What? Okay. Well, that was awkward.
What is
we really got
going
to get a
on
camera in here so
today?
people can see this stuff. I mean, this is just, you can't make this up. This is
No
just
cameras, no
people
cameras.
literally.
I don't think you can show this right now on
I don't
camera.
think you, I don't think
could.
it's good. No.
There's a lot of special area rubbing going on right now. It doesn't
I don't
look
know what.
appropriate.
I don't know how to handle this.
I don't either. I want out of this closet.
Yeah,
I'm uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable.
So what'd you say
You're
about
not
the
gonna take
cost
your
of doing
pants
business?
off. You're not gonna take your pants off, are you? You're not like hang them up to
getting
dry or
close.
anything, are you?
Garrett nonchalantly leans forward into the mic and goes, "So what'd you say about the cost of doing business?" Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, man.
Okay, well, I was trying to say.
Here, Red Bull gets stains out. Try this. Put a little bit on that. On
No,
there.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh, okay.
I hope we all have headaches now.
I don't have a headache at all.
I hope you get one.
I do.
I have one. I don't know what's happening
I
here.
have two of them. They're in this room right now.
What do you mean? I'm on Team Brandon right now. I'm just as confused as you.
You encourage this. You
I
encourage
just
it.
watched something that might be more than rated R in the podcast closet.
Unbelievable.
I'm kind of worked
Are you better
up.
now? Do you need to go
I'm
take
fine.
a break?
I'm fine.
Do we need to?
I'm great.
You need to wear one of those like ponchos.
You let me get you a towel? I'll dry your leg off for you.
No, but I do have an apple out there. Do you care if I eat it?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I do care if you eat it. That was the loudest thing I've ever heard somebody eat in my
Oh,
life.
I can't believe this just happened.
Anyways, moving forward. Anyways, we were talking about, the different things you can do. And one thing I also like to say is you can always work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
And the cost of doing business and working dumb are two different things, right?
Working dumb.
I mean, it is. Like, seriously, there's some stupid things people do. And it's like, that's not the cost of doing business. That's just you being stupid. I'm going to be honest with you. But the cost of doing business, examples include like inventory, payroll, rent, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Fixed expenses are regular and don't change much, but wasted things like poorly maintained inventory, added labor costs, and unnecessary rent due to poor planning are all things that you can control.
Sure are.
So work smarter, not harder, and your overhead can stay down.
I like it.
It's one of those things where having to rent additional space because either A, you've overbooked yourself, or B, you didn't plan accordingly is really a bad use of your money.
Well, are you really making money at that point then?
Well, exactly.
Right?
I mean, it's one of the reasons why people get, kind of, frustrated though, is because for example, we build equipment. This equipment isn't small.
No.
And then suddenly it gets finished and then they're like, "Oh, well, I'm going to need you to hold it for a month." Well, then I have to charge you for that. Like, I'm going to have to charge you rent for that because I can't slow everything else down just because you can't accept the machine.
Right.
So it's the same thing you should be doing to your business. Is like, if your job is done and customer can't take that job, you need to think about that. Because it's wasted material that you've tied up now. It's labor that you tied up. And now it's space that you're tying up. Right?
Yeah.
You have to look at, added labor costs. Because you're getting something done faster than you're supposed to, right? For somebody else's needs. Are you eating the cost of that or are they?
Well, you shouldn't be.
Exactly. You can't eat added labor costs.
No.
And then, flip side of it, if you are eating labor costs because you're messing things up, then you need to also think about that.
Yeah.
Because if something's costing you money because of its own, failures, then you have to start weighing the cost of, are they worth it?
Right.
And that does mean employee costs.
Yes.
There are certain employees when you have to look at them. If you spend more time babysitting an employee or more time fixing employees' mistakes, I realize there's not a lot of employees out there right now, but there's still a point where that employee is not profitable to you.
Right.
And you're better to be without that employee than you are to be with an employee that costs you money.
For sure. For sure.
And it's an uncomfortable topic. It really is. Talking
Yeah.
about hiring and firing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody enjoys firing. Nobody. Heck,
No.
nobody enjoys hiring. Let's be honest with you.
Why are you smiling like
Oh,
that?
it's nice that we have that we're just in a comfortable position that we don't have to go through that. Us three,
Here, go on. I'm listening.
No, that's all.
That's all.
We're just very grateful.
Remember that time that I sold a guy an RC and he called back and changed it to a Pro?
I do.
And I never changed paperwork.
And
Remember that?
the sales guy forgot to change the paperwork.
Remember
one?
that day?
Yeah, I remember that.
Thought that was my last day.
It was a very unprofitable day for me. No, but you know what? That's the reality, though. And I'm glad you guys bring that up because that's not who we are, right?
Right.
You can make mistakes.
Yeah, we're human.
Don't eat the mic.
Jesus, what happened there? My mic attacked me.
I think you tried to bite it.
It attacked me.
Like a giraffe.
It moved. I think the whole table came at me. But no, I mean, that's the reality. It's like, I'm not saying because the guy made a mistake and cost you some money that you fire him.
Right.
Right? I mean, we all make mistakes.
No, you had said, you were like, hey man, we got to pay closer attention. We can fix
we
this.
had a conversation about it, right?
We can fix this.
You and
Yeah.
I looked each other in the eyes and we gazed into each other's eyes and I said,
Whoa.
don't do it again. No.
And I said, I won't, sir.
But no, I mean, seriously, it was one of those things where we sat down, we had a real conversation about it. And the difference was, you made a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no reason that we're going to fight that, right?
Right.
You owned up to it. And it's one of those things where I said, obviously, here's what it costs us, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, we lose money because of it, right?
Yep.
But it's not something you do every day.
No, that was a one-time
And
deal.
yeah, and it's something.
Scared to do it again.
But the point is like you learn from it.
Yeah.
If you did that every single week, then we're probably gonna have a very different conversation,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You better get good at making a resume. But the end of the day, like I'm not unhuman, right? I mean, I'm not against the fact that I make mistakes too, right? We all do.
Right.
Yeah.
And when somebody makes a mistake, what is your deal over there, Garrett? You are
Nothing.
struggling this morning.
I'm sitting here.
Just sitting here giggling like a child.
I don't know what's going on.
I know. I don't know what's going on either. I feel like I'm missing something.
I feel like I'm missing something.
He's just giggling like a
Not
school
another
child.
joke.
I feel like he's that kid in the back of the room where the teacher's trying to have a conversation and doesn't really know what's going on, but just is mad at that kid in the back of the room.
I was that kid in school.
Yeah, I can tell. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you got to work smarter, not harder. But you also have to work within your means,
Right.
Don't fire people just because they made a mistake. But at the same time, don't put up with the people that are costing you a lot of overhead and money.
Right. You have to take it like, it's got to be situational. Right?
Situational, 100%.
It's got to be situational.
Yeah. Then let's just talk about what can you do to help reduce the excessive cost of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. Well, let's develop a plan, right? Is that not the first thing that usually can save you some money? Developing a plan, knowing where you're going, what you're doing, your day-to-day, your week, your month, whatever your plan is, right?
You kind of need that.
I mean,
In a business, for
in
sure.
my opinion, it is. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of businesses that run by the seat of their pants. Well, let's see what next week brings.
They get a lot of fires they got to put
But
out.
that's my thing, exactly. They spend their entire time firefighting. The more you can plan, the less waste and resources that you'll go through, right?
Unless
So-
they're firefighters, that's not a good thing.
True. Unless you're a firefighter. Putting fires out isn't a good thing.
Right.
But yeah, and then invest in better technology. That's one area that I think businesses lack the most in, is investing in technology. The cost of buying the right equipment should never be a burden on your business.
No, not at all.
People make that a burden.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to find a cheaper one. You hear that so much. I'll find a cheaper one. I'll find one that doesn't cost me as much. Or, I found one that's just as good. It's not the one you want, obviously. It's not what you need.
No, it's absolutely.
It's to
not.
get
You're
by.
settling.
You're
Yeah.
getting by is what you're doing.
You
Exactly.
are. You are.
And then, it's like hiring the right individual to do the job. You pay a little bit more up front for that person, right? They bring a set of skills. They bring a reason why they're worth more money, right?
Yep.
And in the end, you usually save considerably because you're cutting down on wasted time or having to redo jobs due to poor quality, right?
Yep.
Same thing for equipment. If you buy the right equipment up front, it costs you a little bit more money up front, but in 10 years, your return on your investment is significantly more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
A half-assed piece of equipment gets you 2 years, right?
Yep. I would say if you're lucky sometimes,
Yeah.
right? There's some guys that have bought stuff and I've talked to them and they've never got it running.
Yep.
Never.
And that's true. And those are real case scenarios. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're going to get 2 years out of that piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I got by for 2 years.
Oh, great.
What would it have been like, though, if you had the right piece of equipment you can get by for 10
Right.
or more?
Right.
And I got customers of ours that have equipment that have had it for 20 years.
The funny thing about that too, you start thinking about it, like I'm going to get this cheap machine and I'm going to get by and I'll get a new one when this one craps out.
Yeah.
Think about what it takes to bring a machine into a building and
Bingo.
set it up and take it out and all that time. Why you want to do that again? I don't want to do that again.
Okay, well, here's the other thing. Let's go one step further with that.
Yeah.
What about the learning curve?
For sure.
You're going to learn how to use a piece of equipment, right?
Yeah.
Just to replace it in 2 years and have to learn it all over again.
Sounds like a wonderful time.
Or the fact that now you might find that the software that you're using now isn't compatible with whatever you end up with later on.
Right.
So not only do you learn the equipment again, now you're learning the software again. You have to redo all your files.
Yep.
So instead, it's not just about that 2 years of I can get by, but it's retraining all your employees.
For sure.
Have you tried training an employee ever? Sometimes that's not easy.
Right.
I have Garrett.
You trained me in.
I'm still trying to train Garrett.
Shut up a minute.
Really?
Things not to do. Spill coffee in your lap in a podcast room, and then rub water on it vigorously.
Yeah, we're not teaching you things about your work, Garrett. You're good at that.
You're very
We're
good
gonna
at
get you
that.
farther in life with basic life skills. We're gonna get you there.
I'm still young.
I know.
Still young.
I want to be learning. I make mistakes so I can be better
I
tomorrow.
want to be young again.
I just want to be young. Exactly. I want to not hurt when I
I
stand
like
up.
being young.
Yeah. What?
I lived through Garrett, just for the record.
Oh, all the time.
I love his stories. I
All
just
the
sit
time.
back and I'm like, yeah, I remember being cool like that. Now I'm not.
No.
Now I'm old and stupid.
Yes.
Keep going, Garrett. Keep talking.
No, I'm done.
Oh man, but no, it's one of those things. You got to invest in the right technology,
For sure.
and then explore alternative methods. Right? That's another way you can reduce your cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Find ways to do what you're already doing, but more efficiently. Whether that is adding a CNC machine, right?
Right.
You're cutting things by hand. Maybe you can add a CNC machine and be more efficient.
For sure.
Maybe it's exploring, ways to buy in bulk, right? You can buy some of your material that you're using anyways. As an example, paint. You can buy it in your cans and mix it and do what you got to do, right?
Yep.
But is it an option to buy it in a barrel? Can you buy it in a greater, amount or quantity and not have to buy as much then?
Right.
Right? Reduce the cost. It's something I did with my race program even, with my race car. I used to buy gas every night. I'd go buy gas every time I had to fill the race car up. And finally I just decided to buy a barrel of gas, pump my own gas.
Right, so much
And
more convenient.
Yeah, and it reduces the cost. And it's not necessarily just the, per gallon cost, because that goes down just a little bit when you buy in bulk, but it's more or less that I don't have the cost and the, labor of me having to go to the station all the time.
Right.
Or having to go do something. I save money because of time.
Right.
Not because of the actual material. I'm using the same amount of material. It just saves me time and convenience.
Right. Well,
So-
also you got to think of it on the other side of that is maybe you bought that barrel of race fuel 2 months ago,
Correct?
and now the price of race fuel is
Sure.
$247 a gallon. Right. You saved a lot of money. You bought it cheaper. Now the
True.
cost of it's through the roof.
But think about that in your materials at work.
Exactly.
That's what people need to think about is like if you buy paint, if you buy lacquer thinner, if you buy any chemical, right? You buy anything that you're dealing with in your business, if the plywood, right?
I was just gonna say Baltic birch sheet.
Yeah. So you go buy 4 sheets of Baltic birch, right?
Yep.
And take 2 loans out to do that because it's expensive. But then you go buy an entire truckload of Baltic birch. Yeah, it's going to be expensive,
It is.
but is it going to be cheaper to do that today than it is in 3 months?
For sure, and you're probably going to get a break on a truckload versus 4 sheets.
Yeah.
So buying in bulk, you save, and as prices are going to continue to go up right now,
Yep.
you're saving that money. It's even more savings, right?
If you have the work, buy the material.
Right. Or think about this: you bought that whole truck, and maybe things are a little slower for you. You could sell that material off too.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly.
At the going
Supply
rate.
and demand, right?
You got it for this, sell it.
Then you don't got to run every week too to go get material.
Well, that's
You got
that's
it
where I
there
was
for a
going with that.
whole
Is then
month.
you reduce labor because your employees aren't running to Home Depot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're not running to Home Depot. Let's think about that. I think that's the craziest thing. Business owners who run errands.
Yeah.
Like, if you have an employee, have them do stuff for you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, seriously though, Garrett, like it's cost effective
Yeah.
because you take people out of the business that have 27 hats on to go pick up plywood
Right.
when they could be selling something for the business,
Right.
advertising something for the business.
Send the forklift driver in the shop. to go
Do
get it.
something like that. Yeah, I mean, you have to prioritize your labor.
Yep.
And that's one thing you look at, like you said, Garrett, is like, you do run some stuff, some errands for it. In fact, you offer it. I mean, Garrett's the first one to jump, hey, man, you want me to go grab that for you? Like, and I will take advantage of that every time I get. Yeah, give me their gas receipt when you're done. I'm paying gas regardless if it's in my truck or his truck.
Yeah. So what's the matter?
What does it matter?
Who cares?
But the difference is like when Garrett's out of the office, I'm still talking to customers, still doing things, ordering materials. I'm still able to do things that I couldn't do if I was in the car driving to Home Depot.
Maybe let's look at the other side of that for just a sec. Maybe that business owner doesn't trust his employee. Maybe I don't want my employee out there.
You have the wrong employee.
Exactly.
Or you have the wrong mindset.
Exactly. If you're the one that feels like you need to leave and go get it done, and you can't have an employee do it, you got the wrong people working for you.
Absolutely. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And, I think that's a really big mistake a lot of business owners make.
Yeah.
There's actually, I'm trying to recall it here, but there's a saying that, they talk about, as you train people and as you do different things as a manager, being able to trust your employees and being able to trust those around you. And again, I think that goes back to your overhead. being able to take care of people and, allow your employee to be truly successful in his own, his or her own.
It means a lot, and I can speak to this too. Like, it may be easier than you could, past experience, but it comes down to this. Like today, I'm going to go to the chiropractor when we're done here, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to go to the chiropractor.
Yep.
And I'm going to come back.
Yep.
And I know you're not going to call me, where are you, what are you doing? But
Yep.
when we first started, what would I do? I'm like, Brandon, I text you, sorry, I'm running late. The guy had a full lobby, whatever. You're
Yep.
like, settle down. Just do your thing and get back here. Like, you're fine.
Yeah.
And as an employee on the other side of that, it changes everything. It changes everything. It changes the whole aspect.
Yep.
It changes the dynamic of working together.
Yep.
It feels like a partnership and not, I'm a slave, right? Get back here. You're,
Yeah, and I found the quote that I was looking for, and it says, "To build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness and not a threat to your position of authority." And I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, read that again.
To build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness and not a threat to your position of authority.
I really like that.
Yeah, and that's the truth, though, is like as you start looking at your business and you think about your cost of overhead, right? Guys try to hire cheap, employees. Guys try to, cut costs where they can because they want to get by. But the reality is, like, you're not building a strong team by cutting corners.
No, you're not.
You're not building a strong team by worrying about them being better than you. How many times have I said it? And I'll toot my own horn a little bit here, but I walk around this building and I always tell everybody that your success is more important than mine.
For sure. And I don't think you're tooting your horn. I think some people need to hear that. Like, there's ways of doing business that are really successful, and it
Yep.
changes your dynamic. And you do a good job of that. Your dad does a good job of that. ShopSabre does a good job of that.
Yeah.
Right? Of creating this environment where you feel
culture.
like you're on a team.
a culture.
You're an equal, right?
Because you are an equal. That's
Yeah.
the thing is there's not one person in this building that is worth more or less than another person.
I love it. That was a really good quote, man.
Like, it's just how we are, is that at the end of the day, every single person in this building was hired for a purpose.
Right.
And that purpose, without them doing their job, affects somebody else somewhere else.
For sure.
So to ever act like one position is more important than the other is just ludicrous to me.
I like that. That was a good quote, dude. That was deep. I like
But,
that.
The other way you can explore alternative methods.
Is to go to ShopSabre.com.
There it is. I was going to say it, but you beat me to it.
Well, I mean, I think it's a smart thing to do. Is just
I think so, too.
Go to ShopSabre.com.
ShopSabre.com.
Favorite website.
It's my favorite website.
I'm there all day.
Been there a lot.
Ton.
But also you have to revisit your price structure. That's another thing you can do. Make sure you know your costs. Make sure you're accounting for your costs and make sure your customer understand them. Your cost of overhead is still costs, right?
Right.
So it's okay not to be the cheapest person out there.
For sure. And you have to make sure you're covering your overhead, right?
If you're better, you should cost more, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're the cheapest out there, you are the cheapest then, is what you're telling me. You should not be the cheapest.
Yeah.
Like, there's cheaper CNC machines out there than us, I promise you.
For sure.
You can be affordable. Don't be cheap.
There's a difference.
Yeah, cheap sucks.
Cheap sex.
Yeah. But know your worth. Like I said, cost of doing business. It's time to start valuing your business based on what you do, what you offer, who you are. The customer may have an opinion of what you should do, but at the end of the day, they aren't paying the bills that are coming through that door, right?
Right.
They help pay those bills, right? A customer is helping you pay the bills.
Sure are.
But they truly aren't writing the check for the cost of the material.
No.
They don't see what you see. They only perceive to believe what they know.
Right.
You know?
They get a small glimpse.
Yeah, and so you have to account for what your overhead is and what your cost of doing business is. And you can explain that to your customer. And I do it too. I mean, we get customers that, well, why is this so much? And you have to explain it to them. Well, think about this. And 99% of people get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yep.
I didn't think about the extra stuff that you're having to do,
Don't sell yourself short.
Exactly. Don't sell yourself short. It's time to get serious about the way you do business, make improvements, make changes so you can remain successful for years to come. Your cost of overhead is your success for the future. If your cost of overhead gets out of control, your business is going to get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also by cutting costs in areas that are needed, like advertising, as we talked about,
You're also
going to
gonna
hurt yourself there
hurt.
too. Yeah.
Yep.
And then my favorite is just adding a CNC router and CNC plasma is one of the most popular way to help your business.
Can't disagree with you.
Seems logical.
It seems logical to me.
I've got one customer right now who's adding his third piece of equipment in like 14 months.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's the
awesome.
future.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no doubt. Like, this is the way of the world.
Yeah, CNC technology is the future. I mean, if you aren't talking to somebody from our team already about a new machine, and you do any type of manufacturing, you should be talking to somebody from our team.
At ShopSabre.com.
At ShopSabre.com. Yeah, but that's the reality. I mean, that kind of wraps up today's episode. You know, in terms of the kind of the core function of what I was trying to say. But I mean, I think the biggest thing that I'm trying to put out there for people is that cost of doing business is real. You have to take it into consideration, but it also gets overlooked. People just forget about it. And it either eats their business from the inside out, or they literally hurt themselves because they're cutting areas they shouldn't cut.
Right.
You know, you have to understand your numbers. If you don't know your own numbers, you should learn them.
Yeah, you should know what's going on in your business. Absolutely.
My number is 51B.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But no, you have to think about that in your business, study it, understand it. Garrett, do you need to go home to change now?
Just itching my eye.
I know, but you spilled like a half a gallon of coffee on your lap.
I might, if I can,
This was definitely a day.
This was a day.
This was definitely
It smells
a
like
day.
cappuccino in here now.
You're right. Maybe I will take the rest of the day, just work from home. Doesn't sound bad.
Just gonna take the rest of the day and work from home.
Yeah. I mean, if you're offering that, I probably will.
I don't know if that I'm offering that.
I'll wait
I
till
asked if you
after
need to go
lunch.
change. That's
I'll
all
wait
I
till
asked.
after lunch.
I just asked if you had to change. I didn't ask if you had to go work from home.
Well, I didn't bring any clothes here.
Yep, that's why I said go change. That means come back.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll determine later on if that's gonna work for me.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
I don't know what you're drinking out of that coffee cup. You spilt the rest of it on your lap.
There's a bit left.
Good
Pretty
drop.
good, actually.
He's
Pretty
got
good.
a mochi,
There's a good 4 or 5 ounces.
mochi koki latte Yoko Moco in his lap now.
What is that?
I don't know.
That's just black coffee.
It's a grande cheese one.
This is black coffee. Is all it
Grande
is.
cheese.
I don't know.
Grande cheese.
It's a grande cheese latte.
You're not a
Yuck.
coffee drinker, I take it.
Yuck. Dude,
No.
I just started picturing nacho cheese and coffee mixed up. My stomach
I want
started
some nachos now.
kind
though.
of turned.
That sounds great.
How about
Yeah,
that?
I want nachos, but not
How about that
cheese coffee.
English muffin?
No English muffins this morning for me. I'm good. With that note, I'm Brandon.
I'm Jesse.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.